Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about something that honestly made me tear up when I read about it, and I think it's going to touch your heart too. We're diving into a story about Jungkook's mother and a specific lesson she taught him that fundamentally shaped who he is as a person and as an artist. This isn't just another celebrity story, this is about values, parenting, character, and why Jungkook has become the humble, genuine person that ARMY has come to love and respect. If you've ever wondered why Jungkook seems so grounded despite all his success, why he's so sincere in his interactions, why he maintains humility even when he's breaking records and making history, the answer traces back to his upbringing and specifically to one powerful lesson his mother instilled in him from a young age. So grab some tissues because this story is beautiful, and make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're about to explore something really meaningful. Let me start by giving you the core of this story, the heart of what we're talking about today. According to sources that have shared insights into Jungkook's upbringing and the values that BTS members attribute to their families, Jungkook's mother taught him something that has become a fundamental principle in his life. She taught him that character and honesty are more important than achievements. Now, I want you to really let that sink in for a moment because in a world that is absolutely obsessed with success metrics, achievement, winning, being the best, getting the highest scores, reaching the top of the charts, that message is revolutionary. We live in a society that constantly tells us that what matters most is what you accomplish, what you achieve, what records you break, what awards you win, and here's Jungkook's mother essentially saying no, what matters most is who you are as a person and whether you're honest in your dealings with others. This lesson didn't just exist as an abstract principle that was stated once and then forgotten. It was reinforced through real situations and real consequences, and there's a specific story that illustrates this perfectly. Apparently, when Jungkook was younger, there was an incident involving his school grades where he wasn't truthful about how he had performed. Now, here's what makes this story so powerful and what really demonstrates the wisdom of his mother's approach. She didn't get angry because his grades weren't perfect, she didn't punish him because he didn't achieve the highest marks, she got upset specifically because he lied about it. Think about what that communicates to a child, think about what lesson that reinforces. The message isn't that you must be perfect, the message isn't that only the highest achievement is acceptable, the message is that your integrity, your honesty, your character matter more than any grade or achievement ever could. This approach to parenting and teaching values is actually quite profound when you think about it from a psychological and developmental perspective. Many children grow up in environments where achievement is prioritized above everything else, where their worth as individuals becomes tied to their performance, where they learn that love and approval are conditional on success. That kind of environment creates anxiety, it creates perfectionism, it creates people who are terrified of failure because failure means they're not worthy. But Jungkook's mother took a different approach. By focusing on character and honesty rather than just achievement, she was teaching him that his worth as a person isn't determined by external accomplishments but by internal qualities, by who he is, by how he treats others, by whether he lives with integrity. The impact of this teaching is visible in who Jungkook has become as an adult and as a global superstar. Despite achieving things that most people can only dream of, despite reaching levels of success that put him among the most accomplished artists in the world, Jungkook maintains a humility and groundedness that is genuinely remarkable. He doesn't carry himself with arrogance, he doesn't seem to believe that his achievements make him superior to others, he maintains respect and kindness in his interactions with people regardless of their status or position. That kind of character doesn't happen by accident, it's the result of values that were instilled early and reinforced consistently throughout his development. There's another dimension to this story that I think is really important to highlight, which is the emphasis on honesty specifically. In the incident with his grades, his mother's anger wasn't about the academic performance itself but about the dishonesty, about the lying. What she was teaching him in that moment was that honesty is non-negotiable, that truthfulness is fundamental, that you don't lie even when the truth might be uncomfortable or disappointing. That's a powerful lesson because it establishes integrity as a core value, as something that supersedes temporary convenience or avoiding discomfort. When you internalize that lesson at a young age, it becomes part of who you are, it becomes your default mode of operation rather than something you have to consciously choose each time. We can see this value of honesty manifest in how Jungkook interacts with ARMY and with the public. He's known for being genuine, for being real, for not putting on a false persona or pretending to be something he's not. When he shares his feelings or his thoughts, there's an authenticity to it that people can sense and respond to. That authenticity, that genuineness, that refusal to be fake or dishonest even when it might be more convenient, traces directly back to the values his mother instilled. She taught him that who you are matters more than what you achieve, and that honesty is fundamental to who you are. The story also mentions that Jungkook has internalized this lesson to the point where he actively applies it in his work and his interactions. He's described as someone who works with a sincere attitude, who genuinely cares about doing things well not just for recognition or achievement but because he believes in doing things with integrity and sincerity. He's also noted for being someone who asks about other people's feelings, who shows care and concern for those around him, who doesn't just focus on himself and his own success but pays attention to the well-being of others. These aren't accidental traits, these are the natural outcomes of being raised with values that prioritize character over achievement. Let me talk about why this lesson, this value system, is particularly important in the context of the entertainment industry and the kind of pressures that come with being a global superstar. The entertainment world, and particularly the K-pop industry, can be brutally competitive and achievement-focused. There's constant pressure to be the best, to have the highest sales, to break records, to win awards, to maintain popularity. In that environment, it would be very easy to lose yourself, to become so focused on success and achievement that you compromise your values, that you prioritize winning over being a good person, that you justify dishonest or unkind behavior in pursuit of success. But Jungkook's mother's lesson provides an anchor, a foundation that keeps him grounded even in the midst of extraordinary success and pressure. When you truly believe that character and honesty are more important than achievements, it changes how you approach your career and your life. It means you won't compromise your integrity for a career boost, it means you treat people well even when there's no immediate benefit to doing so, it means you're honest even when lying might be easier or more convenient. These might seem like small things, but they're actually the building blocks of a life lived with integrity, and they're the foundation of why people not only admire Jungkook's talent but genuinely respect and love him as a person. I want to talk about the broader implications of this lesson because I think it's something that everyone, regardless of whether they're BTS fans or not, can learn from and apply to their own lives. We live in a culture that is obsessed with achievement, with success, with measurable accomplishments. From the time we're children, we're taught to focus on grades, test scores, college admissions, job titles, salary levels, all these external markers of success. And while achievement certainly isn't a bad thing, while working hard and accomplishing goals is valuable, the problem comes when achievement becomes the only thing that matters, when we lose sight of the importance of character, integrity, and how we treat others. Jungkook's mother's lesson offers a powerful counterbalance to that achievement-obsessed culture. She's essentially saying that yes, doing well is good, achieving things is fine, but never at the expense of your character, never by compromising your honesty, never by becoming someone whose values you can't respect. It's a reminder that at the end of the day, what truly matters is not what you accomplished but who you became in the process, not what awards you won but whether you maintained your integrity and treated people with kindness and respect. This lesson is particularly relevant for young people who are growing up in an era of social media where there's constant pressure to present a perfect image, to showcase achievements, to compete for likes and followers and validation. In that environment, Jungkook's mother's teaching is like a breath of fresh air, a reminder that your worth isn't determined by your metrics, that being honest and having good character matters more than appearing successful or perfect. It's a message that could genuinely help a lot of people who are struggling with the pressure to achieve and perform and constantly prove their worth through external accomplishments. There's also something beautiful about the fact that this lesson has been shared and is being discussed in the context of BTS and Jungkook's success. It would be one thing if this was just a nice principle that someone talked about in theory, but here we have Jungkook who has achieved extraordinary success, who has reached the absolute pinnacle of the music industry, who has accomplished things that most people could never even dream of, and yet he embodies these values of humility, honesty, and character over achievement. That's powerful because it demonstrates that you don't have to choose between success and integrity, that you can achieve incredible things while still maintaining your values and your character. In fact, one could argue that Jungkook's success is enhanced and made more meaningful by the fact that he's achieved it while maintaining these values. ARMY doesn't just love him because he's talented or successful, they love him because he's genuine, because he's kind, because he treats people well, because he's humble despite his achievements, because he embodies values that go beyond just being a great performer. His mother's teaching has helped create not just a successful artist but a person who people genuinely respect and admire, and that's a far more valuable outcome than success alone could ever provide. Let me also address the parenting aspect of this story because I think there's wisdom here for anyone who is raising children or influencing young people. JUNGKOOK's mother's approach shows the power of prioritizing character development over achievement pressure. Instead of making her child feel that their worth depended on perfect grades or constant achievement, she emphasized the importance of being a good person, of being honest, of having integrity. That approach creates psychologically healthier individuals who have a stable sense of self-worth that isn't dependent on external validation or constant achievement. It also teaches children that they can be honest about their struggles, their failures, their imperfections without fear of losing love or approval. When the message is that honesty matters more than perfect performance, children learn that they can be truthful about when things aren't going well, when they've made mistakes, when they need help. That openness and honesty is incredibly valuable for mental health and well-being, and it creates stronger, more authentic relationships between parents and children and eventually in all relationships. The story also highlights the importance of teaching through real situations and consequences rather than just abstract principles. JUNGKOOK's mother didn't just tell him that honesty was important, she reinforced it when he lied about his grades by making it clear that the dishonesty was the problem, not the grades themselves. That kind of consistent reinforcement of values in real situations is what makes them stick, what makes them become internalized rather than just being words that are easily forgotten. I think it's also worth noting that this approach to values and character development aligns with what we know about BTS as a group and the messages they share through their music and their platform. BTS has always emphasized themes of self-love, authenticity, staying true to yourself, treating others with kindness, and working hard while maintaining your values. Those themes aren't just marketing messages or manufactured brand identity, they're reflections of the actual values that the members were raised with and that they genuinely believe in. JUNGKOOK's mother's teaching about character and honesty being more important than achievements fits perfectly within that larger value system that BTS embodies. For ARMY, learning about this aspect of JUNGKOOK's upbringing probably creates an even deeper appreciation for who he is as a person. It's one thing to admire someone's talent and achievements, it's another thing entirely to understand the values and principles that guide them, to see the foundation of character that was laid in childhood and reinforced throughout their development. This story gives ARMY insight into why JUNGKOOK is the way he is, why he maintains humility despite extraordinary success, why he treats people with kindness and respect, why he approaches his work with sincerity and integrity. It's not just personality, it's the result of values that were carefully instilled and consistently reinforced. There's also something touching about the fact that JUNGKOOK has apparently shared these lessons from his mother, that he's been open about the values she taught him and how they've influenced who he's become. That openness about family influence and parental teaching shows respect and gratitude for his upbringing, and it also demonstrates a willingness to share meaningful lessons with others who might benefit from them. In sharing his mother's teaching, JUNGKOOK is essentially passing on wisdom that could help others, could influence how other people think about success and character and what truly matters in life. I want to come back to the specific lesson one more time because I think it's worth really emphasizing and unpacking. Character and honesty are more important than achievements. Let's break that down. Character refers to who you are as a person, your moral qualities, your integrity, how you treat others, your values and principles. Honesty is about truthfulness, about being genuine and authentic, about not lying or deceiving whether in small matters or large ones. Achievements are the external accomplishments, the grades, the awards, the records, the measurable success. What JUNGKOOK's mother was teaching is that the internal qualities, who you are and whether you're truthful, matter more than the external accomplishments. This is countercultural in many ways because our society tends to judge people primarily by their achievements. We ask what school you went to, what job you have, how much money you make, what awards you've won, what recognition you've received. We don't typically ask about someone's character first, we don't prioritize honesty and integrity in how we evaluate success. But JUNGKOOK's mother's teaching suggests that we have our priorities backwards, that we should be focusing first on character and honesty and viewing achievements as secondary. The beautiful thing is that when you prioritize character and honesty, achievements often follow naturally, but they come in a healthier way. When you work with integrity and sincerity like JUNGKOOK does, when you treat people well and maintain honesty, you often end up achieving success anyway, but it's success that's built on a solid foundation rather than on compromised values. And even more importantly, when you prioritize character over achievement, you can handle both success and failure in healthier ways because your sense of worth isn't tied entirely to external outcomes. As we wrap up, I want to acknowledge why this story is making ARMY emotional, why the title of this video mentions tears. It's because there's something deeply moving about learning that someone you admire, someone who has achieved extraordinary things, was raised with such beautiful values, was taught by a mother who prioritized character over achievement, who reinforced honesty even when it meant difficult conversations. It's moving because it explains so much about why JUNGKOOK is beloved not just as an artist but as a person. It's moving because it's a reminder that good parenting, thoughtful value education, and consistent reinforcement of important principles can create genuinely good people who maintain their integrity even under enormous pressure and success. This story is also meaningful because it offers hope and inspiration. It shows that success and good character aren't mutually exclusive, that you can achieve incredible things while maintaining humility and honesty and integrity. It demonstrates the long-term impact of parental teaching and value education. It provides a model for how to prioritize what truly matters rather than getting caught up in achievement obsession. And it gives us all something to think about regarding our own values and priorities, whether we're parents trying to raise children with good character, or individuals trying to live with integrity in an achievement-focused world. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this story about JUNGKOOK's mother and her teaching touched your heart the way it touched mine. If you found this meaningful, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with others who might appreciate this message about character, honesty, and what truly matters in life. Subscribe to the channel for more BTS content that goes beyond just news and achievements to explore the values and character that make these artists so special. And let me know in the comments what you think about this lesson, how it resonates with you, and whether it changes how you think about success and character. I'll see you in the next video.